Welcome to solverfy.
All right, here's another really good vector problem. We start with the city of Dallas, and we're told that Atlanta is 730 miles at a direction of 5 degrees north of east. And so that's east to the right. So 5 degrees north of east is going to be just a little bit above that. And that takes us to Atlanta. And then we're told that Chicago, I'll just arbitrarily put it right there, is 560 miles. And that's at an angle of 21 degrees west of north. So again, if this is our north, west is going to be to the left of it, and that's an angle of 21 degrees west of north. And the question is asking, if that's true, and assuming the Earth is flat, which we know it isn't, but to do the math, we can assume that, what is that displacement? And in order to solve that, we can't just go directly to the triangle and try to use Pythagoras' theorem, because this is not a right triangle. So what we do with vectors is we just keep making things right triangles. And so we'll start with this right triangle from Dallas to Atlanta, and we'll figure out what this x value is and what this y value is. And then we'll do the same thing with the Atlanta to Chicago. And so my x value for starting in Dallas is going to be, I know that it's 730 times the cosine, because we're doing the adjacent of 5 degrees, and the y value for that is going to be 730 times the sine of 5 degrees. And when we plug those into our calculator, we get 727, which makes sense because this line here is almost as long as the total distance because that angle is so small. And for the y value, we get 68.6, and both of these are in miles. Okay, in a similar fashion, we're going to look at this right triangle from Atlanta to Chicago. And for the x value, that's going to be 560 miles. And we are, this one is a little bit different. Our angle is down here. And so that x value is actually going to be the sine of 21 degrees. And for the y value, it's 560 times the cosine of 21 degrees. And when we plug those numbers in, this turns into 200.7 or 201. But notice that that distance, the x value, is moving to the left where the previous one was moving to the right. And so that needs to be a minus 207 degrees. For the cosine value, that's 522.8. Both of the y values are acting to the north, and so we can keep both of those as positive. And so my total x displacement from Dallas to Chicago is going to be 727 minus that 200.7, and that turns into 500, and we'll just round off a little bit, call this 201, so we'll call that 526. Our y value from Dallas to Chicago is going to be 68.6 plus 522.8, and we'll just round those off as well to 591. And so that 526 is the displacement to the east, and that 591 is the displacement to the north. And so if we redraw it from Dallas to Chicago, we have 526 east, 591 to the north. And so and I'll go up to the top to finish it, our total distance is going to be 526 squared plus 591 squared. And then we take the square root of it. That's just our Pythagoras theorem. And that's going to be equal, when we plug that into a calculator, 334 miles. And then our angle, if we're looking at that angle right there, we know that the tangent of that angle is going to be 591 divided by 526. And so if we take the inverse tangent of both sides, we get that the angle is going to be 52 degrees. And so our final answer for the entire displacement is 334 miles at 52 degrees. And that 52 degrees is upward from the right or north of east. And that is how you solve that problem.